Hey, welcome back to our show. A Year of Magical Learning, a show where we read a book and we reflect on what lessons we learn and we talk about it. So today we're up to book 49.
Yeah.
And to be clear, all these books has been read by Chris and these are his reflections. So this is Chris Sears and I'm True Win. So let's get on with it.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Drew. I can't believe we've done 49 of these so far together. It's kind of actually crazy. It doesn't seem like a huge number, but if you divide it by how many weeks we do this stuff, I mean, it's a couple months already, if
Yeah, yes.
of doing this. And it's kind of, I mean, it just seems like it's a part of our normal life at this point in time. So, happy to do this one.
Mhm.
Book 49. This is The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. Did you ever read this one?
I haven't my entire library. I haven't. I actually bought it in my Audible, but I haven't started yet. It
Yeah.
eventually will get there.
Quick. Well, I think you would really enjoy this book just knowing you. But at the same time, like I'm not gonna lie, this book was really math heavy. It was really I don't even know how to describe this book. I feel like
Is it like really technical?
yeah, it was pretty, I don't know if technical is the word, because the concepts he was talking about wasn't like too over my head. It was
Hmm.
almost like it was like very stat focused and very it wasn't like philosophical necessarily. It was very much so
Right, right.
like a
So
mathematical
it's more of
approach to
evidence.
right, yes. So
Yeah.
it was very I don't know the word to put to it, but it was interesting. I mean, I definitely learned a lot from it, but at the same time, like it wasn't like I had a fun time reading this book, I guess is what I'll say. But I
Hmm.
do know that this book was one of those just general books that changed a lot of people's, it made a big impact in the world. Like it was not like as the same level of like a Darwin and on the origin of species, but it was one of those books that people were like, oh shit, like after it kind of came out and there was a new theory to apply to life, and people were like, yeah, we are selfish. Actually, that book Humankind that we will talk about in the future, I mean, this is
Hmm.
you know a lot of the studies and stuff that started to come out in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and psychology experiments and things like that, all were stemming from the idea that humans are just innately selfish, and at our genetic core we're selfish, right? And my thing is they took that in a negative way. This is what I was writing about in this reflection. Is it's actually, I think it's a positive thing. So the title was that I put together for this one was we can all get what we want together. And at the core of the book talks about how selfishly our genes are going to protect ourselves and our kin closest to us, basically, to ensure it's our genetic existence. I mean, that's how life works. I don't disagree with that at all. I don't think anybody would ever disagree with that at all, of the the genes that survive, or is the kind of the whole idea of survival of the fittest, right? um but fittest doesn't necessarily mean like strongest or most, take the one that takes the most or the consumes the most resources. Like that doesn't necessarily mean what like survival of the fittest to me. So while I do agree with the central theory of this book of we are at our core and at our genetic core selfish beings, I don't disagree with that at all. I tend to put it into a different spin in my own head as to how that relates back to life in general. So if your goal is pure selfishness, you would think, like I said, at our core, it's like take would be what you want to do. If you're a selfish person, you just keep consuming as much as you want and take from as many people as you want, and eventually your genes will win out. Well, along the way, humans figured out the unique twist to this whole entire rule, that we're all better together. If you want to eat more food to get more protein, to live a longer life and to grow stronger, to pass on your genetic DNA, it's a lot better to eat a mammoth all winter long than it is to hunt little squirrels all day long. The problem is you can't kill a mammoth just by yourself. Like you need other humans to be able to do this stuff with. You need other people to team up with you. You need to be able to pass on the ideas of what you're trying to do in your head to be able to accomplish what you need to selfishly accomplish in order to continue to survive and thrive and be the evolutionary, I guess, winner, if you will. Well, that was how life was like, in my opinion, back in the prehistoric times and all that other good stuff. Well, in today's modern world, it's when I think about the survival of the fittest, it's about the survival of ideas and whose ideas reign supreme. And the only way, as you and I know, for an idea to survive and thrive is if other people start to believe in it, right? So it's one thing to try to turn your idea into from a thought into a thing, as we learned, with infinite possibilities. It's quite another, for you to try to actually expand it, turn it into a culture, build around it. You have to have other people in order for that to survive and thrive. So long story short, I guess, if you want to be as selfish as possible, in my personal book, you need to find ways to unite together with others, to working toward bringing your ideas and goals to life with a mutually beneficial relationship for all. And that's why humans are pretty fun. We figured out, you work together, you're actually more selfish when you work together. So that's the question is how can you be selfish and still help others at the same time? And I'd love to get your thoughts on just the selfish gene in general, like topic, and then what your take on my reflection as a whole. I have a feeling that we're 100% aligned on it, but yeah, I'd love to get your thought.
So first question, do you think a selfish gene is a fact, or is that somebody's opinion?
I don't think anything's a fact. I think if we,
do you believe in it? Do you believe you have it? Do you believe humanity have it?
I believe that we are all at our core selfishly motivated to, even at our, not necessarily at the conscious level, but at our subconscious level, to ensure the survival of ourselves and our closest kin, our children or whatever. I think at our core, like, I'm going to protect, Luca.
Well, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with your genes, right?
Right.
Your
exactly,
genes, your genes is selfish.
Right.
They say, well,
exactly.
I'm here for number one.
Exactly.
And so you are you are made up of these genes. Therefore, you inherently going to be selfish as well.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Because
I think
that's your genetic makeup. You can't buck your genetic code, because it's not gonna make it easy for you. It's going to fight against you. Just going up against a river. Right. It's like if you're naturally gonna be you like the cold, right? And you say, well, I want to be in the hot environment. Well, you're gonna suffer. I mean, you can be, but you're gonna suffer because your gene is not gonna like it.
Right.
And so your genes is gonna determine who you are and what you're gonna do, and what makes you fulfill or at a stable environment, at a stable phase of who you are.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So they are the genes that decide who you are and what you will do and how you behave. And to me, I 100% believe in the selfish genes. Your selfish are over millions of years have randomly evolved, meaning that the selfish gene was able to give people an advantage.
For sure.
That species advantage. So if you were born by random without the selfish gene, you're gonna die off. The one that survived has a selfish gene. So I believe that all of humanity right now, for the majority of our humankind, we have the selfish genes. And this selfish gene is not, it's the way it works, right? And I think it works well. So I don't think. Thing is, people say, I think the reason why people don't write about this or don't talk about this, because it has a bad spin on it, just because hey, I'm selfish, and people wants to be altruist. I want to be good. I want to be this and I want to be that, because that's acceptable. But deep down, we are all selfish, and selfish is a good thing. Because
that's exactly right. That's what I wanted to get out there. Was it's not a bad, think the book Humankind, right? Like, it's still us being selfish together. Like, when we're selfish together, that doesn't mean that it's bad. I think I sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there, but it's like the definition of selfish is really the problem here. Like, we can be selfish together and all thrive
Yes, I
together.
think
But
it's a wrong labeling of
right,
what that gene is.
it's not as selfish. I don't. I mean, I know that
it has that behavior, but because, for example, in a selfish way, if I were to take from you, okay, I said take something, I would able to get $20 from you, right? I can probably do once or twice. So basically I get $40 out of you.
sure.
But if I would say, hey Chris, let's work together, how many dollars can I get in the end? I can get like hundreds,
Infinite. I mean,
thousands,
it's yeah. It's, I
millions.
mean,
Just
right.
because if I help you get what you want, in turn, I can get more from you.
We talked about
So
this with the
so in
self-development
the end,
industry.
it's about the amount of volume, if the optimal number of benefit, the dollars or the whatever I get out of that person I'm talking to. So I'm being selfish by wanting the maximum benefit from you when
Right.
interacting with you. If
Right.
I'm working towards the selfish in a way that it is so primitive that you don't think about it, I can only get $40, $20, right? And to
Right.
me, that's I would say, let's say a dumb selfish versus a smart selfish.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Selfish,
we're
the
like
true
clever.
selfish is like getting the end. What is the maximum benefit you can get?
Right.
You're talking about hunting squirrels, right? I can hunt squirrel, right? I can steal it from you, right? A squirrel compared to a woolly mammoth, is it 100 times, right? The
Probably
meat,
more than that. It's probably
exactly,
10,000 times. You know, I mean,
exactly. So if me, you, and 4 or 5 other people get together, we, surround the mammoth, trying to hunt it. The act of working together, the amount of meat I can take home to my family is huge
right.
comparing to hunting squirrel. I can hunt the squirrel for, I don't know, a month, and maybe I get probably closer, or maybe not even close to the amount of chunk of mammoth that I would hunt with my friend for a week.
Right.
So looking at the selfish gene, the smart way is what's the maximum output I can get out of working together. But in the end, the core of it is still being selfish because I want more than just a bunch of squirrels.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You want the most meat you can bring back for your family.
Right. And
I
so
mean,
the selfish gene is in its works, is working, working, great. It's working great because it is the way that causes us to say, wait a minute, if I work together with me and 5 of my friends, I can get this huge chunk of meat to take home in a week. Right.
Yeah.
And because of that, I can feed my family. My kids grow up, they can survive. Because if I hunt a squirrel, they might die because they probably not have enough for all my family to eat. So because of our selfish gene, we are able to thrive and survive and continue to pass on our genes until today. So in the selfish gene that you're looking at, it's actually a great thing.
I agree. There's no other species on this planet that is as cooperative and collaborative as human beings. And there's a reason I feel like we're the apex,
because we have the selfish gene.
Because we have the most selfish gene. Or I think we need to think of another word. It's not, I don't think selfish is the right word. I think it's I don't know what the word is, and I'm not gonna be able to come up with it on the spot.
Yeah, you probably we may have to make up a new word.
Maybe let's call it the purpose gene or something like that, or the meaning gene,
the maximizer genes, or whatever you want to call it.
Gene. Yeah, yeah.
But this is what I mean when we are selfish. Being selfish is good. Just do your job, right? If I say that's your job, do your job. Don't go over here and say, hey, I want to do that your job and somebody else's job. Just do your job, right? Be selfish. Right. Be specialized in what you do.
Right. So society, as you said, I think you hit the nail on the head. We immediately hear the word selfish because humans are so cooperative with each other. We've been taught, being selfish is awful, which is true. Like, I mean, but at the same time, it's not. It's like it's a weird paradox. The word there needs to be another word that means selfishly good, you know, versus selfishly bad, you know,
Well,
because there's a
the
selfishly
true
bad.
selfish versus the ignorant selfish, because the ignorant selfish means that, hey, I'm gonna try to get money without thinking about the long term. Because let's say I were to I guess I would to work with you, right? Or we would to kind of selfishly take from you.
Right.
The point is there is a reaction on the other side. Say, well, because True is trying to take and take and take. Because Chris is saying, well, if he keep taking, I'm going to stop him from taking. Right? But if I were to take only a little bit and give a little bit, he said, well, that's not too bad. I can continue to let him take. It's not that bad, right? So another example would be, let's say I'm a symbiotic, right? I'm going to chop a tree. What happens if I chop tree and you keep chopping it and then it dies? There's no more fruit, no more chopping I can do. But if I chop just a little bit, right?
Right.
Put some fertilizer, it grows more. I chop a little bit more. Put fertilizer, water it, chop it more. So this is the maximum, the true sense of your purpose gene, your selfish gene.
Right.
Versus I'm going to chop the whole tree and it die. Well, I can only get whatever the wood or the fruits are on the tree right now. But if I just cut a little bit, you know, and then I would tender it and make it grow more and then cut a little more. So I can cut that almost infinitely.
So
indefinitely.
I was trying to bring this up earlier a little bit, but it reminds me of our conversations we've had around like the personal development industry, where it's always this big push to always take up front, and the stupid selfish and the ignorant selfish way, where they're like, look, we have some magic formula to like that's going to help you to maximize your life or whatever. It's going to do whatever. All you need to do is just listen and apply this to your world. And you know, and they push that so hard. And they're like, but you got to spend money up front because we just can't do this stuff for free, you know, like, and you got to pay this $10,000 to come to this conference. You got to, you know, spend $2,000 to go to this professional development and training. Well, all they're doing is teaching knowledge and sharing ideas with each other at that point in time. Like if they were truly smart about it and they were truly thinking with the selfish gene, the good way in mind, they should say like, what if I just taught this to people, and what would I be able to reap in the background as these people completely grow and transform and thrive and start to evolve and start to, you know, to produce way more, you know, 30x, 100x, 5,000x, whatever that maximizes out to of what they're producing. And you take a little bit of that of each of them, and it's going to be way more than that $2,000 you sucked away from them for that one conference.
Right, because you suck so much money out of the front, it just cripples them. Just like you chop down one tree, it dies. You chop the whole tree, it dies.
You have to nurture it. These are relationships you have to invest into. You have to put time into these ideas. What we're doing, what you and I are doing.
I get one tree, or I get multiple branches for indefinitely, as long as the tree is still growing. You know, I mean, it's a symbiotic relationship in that way. So the selfish genes, like it's in its truest form. What is the maximum you can get? Not just, oh, I'm selfish, I'm going to take. That is just an ignorant, dumb, selfish definition.
Right. You and I are planting seeds every single day in my mind. You know, we're
selfish. Learning. We want more than just one tree.
Exactly.
We want infinite tree, infinite fruit, infinite branches to burn for firewood. I want just more. I'm really selfish. To me, I'm a really selfish person.
Yeah, and we want to be able to live our purpose, live our life, do meaningful work for ourselves, and then, you know, to do that, we need to do that with other people, and like we need to be able to build a community and a tribe around the idea of you know, living a balanced existence, which is what we're trying to do. And like it's not that it's not. See, I think that here's the weird thing is it truly is altruistic what we're trying to do, but it's altruistic trying to also build something together that is greater than the sum of our parts. Like it's altruistic saying we can do more in this world, but we need to do, you know, to be able to do it together. So it's like selfish altruism or something like that. I don't even know how to describe it.
Well, selfish is the I would say selfish is the parent of altruism. Without selfishness, you can't be altruistic.
I agree, but you also this is where the definition of the word
I think the definition is where it gets confusing, because to me, when I look at the word selfish, it's about how can I get the maximum out of whatever that I'm interacting with. Right. It's not the dumb selfish where I'm killing my own golden goose. You have a golden goose that lays golden eggs, and you killing it. Say, hey, I want to take. I take the eggs and take the goose.
It's the
I only
PPC
take
balance, right?
exactly. So you imagine you have golden goose. What would you do? You take the egg, you go sell it, and then you kill the goose.
You gotta take care of that damn goose.
You have a freaking fiesta.
Well, I mean, if you're really smart, you'd go figure out how to produce other golden gooses and make sure that they're happy and can able to reproduce and go.
Exactly. If you're smart, like in the true selfish terms, you say, well, if the goose laying eggs, how can I nurture the goose so it can lay more eggs?
Or go find a goose for it to marry so it can produce little baby.
Exactly. So this is kind of thing that's like the selfish gene is. I want to be freaking filthy rich.
Right.
Well, that is very selfish. So I want as many golden goose eggs as possible. That is the true definition of selfish in my mind.
Right.
Because if you're not doing that, you're not being selfish. You're just being stupid. I'm sorry, but you're just being stupid.
Yeah.
If you kill the golden goose, you're just being stupid.
I don't disagree.
They're not being selfish. You're just being stupid. I mean, is that clear?
So I think you and I need to brainstorm another word for this to be able to come back to the world with, because I agree with you. The title of Richard Dawkins' book is provocative by nature, because we're like, well, wait a minute, like, well, selfish means bad, and you're like, and to be fair, like when you read this whole book, he doesn't really talk about the stuff that we're talking about, but I think back to many of the books we've read about humanity in general, and I really do think this is what he was meaning, is like the more that we collaborate and work together, the more that we are technically selfishly putting ourselves out there, because like you said, we're maximizing.
Because we when we work together, the output is more than single, and that's why we're being altruistic.
Exactly.
If we are not, we don't have that kind of output, I don't think I'll be altruistic. To be honest with you, I'm not.
You beyond maybe your children or your wife or something like that. Because humans are the only because this goes back to the whole 90% chimp, 10% bee kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in the future. But
and like I say, it's that gene, right? Because why am I sacrificing myself for my kids? Is it because that the gene I have? It's not that I wanted to. It's just because I was made to do.
Right.
I was made to behave that way. Otherwise, it wouldn't feel good. I wouldn't feel like I'm supposed to.
Agreed.
To do what I want to do, right? That's why am I suffering for my kids? Why like you said, you can't do anything when you don't have a nanny, just because you gotta feed him 5 times a day, and he's
terrorizing the whole house.
Yeah.
He's in everything. He's eating. Side note, he eats. He won't eat the food that we want him to eat, like berries and meat and nuts and eggs and yogurt and whatever. But what he will eat is every piece of metal in the house, every piece of wood. Like he tries to eat everything, like couches, like he'll put anything in his mouth except for the food you want him to eat. Like it's mind blowing. Anyway, that's a side note.
Yeah.
All right, now we're getting down a rabbit hole. All right, so let's call it for the day, I would say. But yeah, it's I don't know about you, but like I would never read this book again, just because it was pretty boring. It was pretty boring content, to be honest with you. Like it was really dry. It was really not something that I was excited about reading. And at the end of the day, I don't know that I would recommend this book, but I did learn, a decent amount. I think it has a good theory behind it. So
I think if if you read this book, right, it gives you a new perspective of it's okay to be selfish. It's a good thing. Don't try to fight it.
It's like Gordon Gekko, greed is good. I mean, I'm not going to go that far, but
it is good. Greed is good. Just this, you have to do the smart way, not the stupid way. If you do the stupid way, then yes.
Right.
Like exactly. I say, if you have a golden goose, feed it whatever it needs to be fed to get you more golden goose eggs, right?
Yeah.
But if you say, I just get the goose and then kick the goose out, well, you're just being dumb.
I agree. There needs to be life's all about balance, right? It's all about finding the right selfish balance, and the right greedy balance.
Maximize your greed. Maximize your selfishness.
Balance. No, we'll call it balance. Balance your selfishness, because because when you're balanced, then you can maximize. Like if you're abusing one way or the other, you're screwed.
Yeah, to
Right.
me, being selfish is good.
Right. Right.
Good thing is
Awesome.
I'm doing this because I'm selfish.
Same here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to look truly at what we're doing this because I'm being selfish. I'm being selfish with you because I get more by talking to you.
Right. Well, I
right?
get more sharing too. I mean,
Exactly.
to be fair, like this is, this would be an
And
awful
that's why the
without you.
altruistic is the child of selfishness.
Agree. I agree.
Okay. Well, we'll leave you
good,
with that.
good lesson for the day. So the question y'all can, contemplate, reflect on is, how can you be selfish and still help others at the same time? So
I think that's already baked in.
yeah, I agree.
Just don't just don't try to go the opposite way up the river just because you naturally are selfish, and because of that you will help others.
Right. It is. I agree. So
Yeah.
maybe we should revise the question, but yeah, either way. Thanks for joining, and we will
We'll
see you
see you
tomorrow.
next time. All right.